Hi, everyone. I'd like to share an insight on Parshat Shmini that the Ramban has that I think is outstanding and relevant to our relationship to Yom HaShoa and to our existence and life as a Jewish people who try to maintain hope in the face of adversity, certainly in our history. So, in Parshat Shmini, it says that Hashem devours Nadav and Avihu, who bring a foreign fire to Hashem, which is not acceptable. And the Torah says, Hashem says, Bikrovaya Kadesh, I will be sanctified through those who are close to me, which is Nadav and Avihu. Obviously, they've done something wrong. We don't really understand what it is. But something was meant to be taught to us. And then it says, Aaron, after hearing this explanation, Vayidom Aharon, Aaron was silent. And many people, there's a whole literature, in my opinion, who misunderstand what the Torah is saying. It says, Aaron was silent. The ideal in the face of tragedy is silence. Aaron was a righteous person because he didn't react. And the Ramban, who certainly doesn't need my approval or my recommendation to be seen as the most brilliant of commentaries on the Torah, the Ramban says, no. What the Torah is telling is that Aaron bacha b'kol, Aaron cried out loud, ve'az shatak, and then he was silent. And people have noticed the Ramban's tremendous psychological sensitivity. What he's saying is human beings, the ideal person is not meant to be a robot. The ideal person is not meant to not cry in the face of tragedy. And certainly, God forbid, losing one's children is an occasion that warrants tremendous distress and tears. The idea is that Aaron then was able to somehow move forward with a larger perspective, even while silently still crying for his children. That's what the Torah is teaching us. Not that we're meant to be robots and to be sort of like computers that don't react emotionally to loss. That's not the ideal. The Torah was given to us as normal human beings who react when we lose. And on Yom HaShoa, when 1.5 million children were murdered, the grief of Aaron was multiplied by 1 million. And those who survived cried out loud, but yet were able to build a life afterwards in many cases, including as a people building the state of Israel, and even outside of Israel, building a rich and elevated life, connecting to God and to each other as a people. The message for us on Yom HaShoah, which happens to be when Parshat Shmini is this year, is Parshat HaShavua, which is we don't understand how God runs the world. We know Hashem has a connection to us. Yet when we suffer tragedy as a people, it is legitimate. In fact, it's mandated to cry. But at the same time, there is a hope, an expectation that we can live life positively as a people. We can build towards the future in Medinat Yisrael, and even outside Medinat Yisrael. And my message for all of us as parents, as children, as students, as teachers, is that Aaron should be an inspiration for us in terms of our view of Jewish history, that we've had a tragic history, but a history that also is filled with promise and with hope, and that we sustain as we look towards the future. We are mitzapeh liyeshuah. We look forward to the redemption. Every day we try to maintain that optimism and to understand that Hashem has reasons for how the world works. Our responsibility is to make positive, good choices, to live a life of Torah and an elevated life together with each other as a people. I wish all of you a Shabbat Shalom, and we should remember those who perished in the Holocaust, and we should look forward to our people and our state thriving now and always. Shabbat Shalom.